What are you doing here on the rooftop?
I am celebrating Kwanzaa.
Why then are you in a Santa suit?
Because I want to be multicultural and not offend the Christians or Jews.
That is ridiculous, because Santa is a secular creation, but at least he kind of was a real person, unlike anything that is associated with Kwanzaa.
That is not true. Kwanzaa is real. They have their own webpage. www.officialkwanzaawebsite.org.
Having a webpage does not mean it is a real holiday.
Is there an official pledge for Christmas? What about Hanukkah? And don't point to Wikipedia as a web page. Anyhow, Kwanzaa is an official African holiday.
First, Africa is not a country, it is a continent. Second, nobody in Africa celebrates. It was created at California State University by a crazy radical professor.
Not true. Kwanzaa is based on several African traditions.
Africa is a continent with 53 countries, close to 1 billion people, and 800 ethnic groups.
Kwanzaa is developed from 7 famous African principles: Amoya, Kuchichingulia, Ajima, Ajama, Nyakumba, and Imani.
Those sound like they are Bantu-based words from East Africa, which mean they are probably close to being Swahili.
Exactly. The traditions are based on the spoken language of Swahili. It is a Pan-African language.
How is Swahili a Pan-African language?
It is the most widely spoken language of African culture in America.
Are you smoking crack or crystal meth? Swahili is only spoken by 7% of the population on the entire continent of Africa. Plus it is only spoken in East Africa. Nobody else on the continent speaks it.
Then what is the most spoken language in Africa?
If you really care to know, it is Arabic. There are over 150 million people that speak Arabic as their primary language. French and English are the other common official languages of a lot of these countries.
So Swahili is still Pan-African.
The labeling of Swahili as a Pan-African language is rubbish. Swahili, a Bantu tongue that includes many words absorbed from Arabic, from Persian and from certain Indian languages, is spoken by some 50 million people, that is about 7% of Africa's population. Swahili was originally written in Arabic script. Most of those Swahili speakers are concentrated in Eastern Africa, in a region that includes Uganda, Kenya, and Tanzania.
Who cares about that little language thing? I have my official maize of corn and other Kwanzaa equipment.
How is corn related to Kwanzaa?
Well, let me look it up on my iPhone. Okay. Here we go. According to the official Kwanzaa website, it is to honor the first harvest celebrations of Africa, which allegedly are recorded in African history as far back as ancient Egypt and Nubia.
So you are telling me they grew corn in Egypt?
Yes, ma'am.
And harvested it during the winter solstice?
That is what it says.
Do you realize no existing culture has ever harvested anything during the winter solstice? This is unheard of. Plus, corn is a product of the New World. It was discovered in North America. The first people to make a living with corn are from Nebraska, Iowa, and Indiana.
Well, I still have my other Kwanzaa items from official vendor, the University of Sankor.
I have never heard of the University of Sankor. Where is this located?
I am not sure. The address on my box says California.
Well, since your iPhone gave you a rubbish answer earlier, let me see what a real phone like the Evo says. Here it is. The so-called University of Sankor was an aggregation of Islamic schools that flourished around the city of Timbuktu in the 14th, 15th, and 16th centuries. No University of Sankor exists today. So your vendor isn't a real university press, and its name is a mockery.
At least I can say the whole concept brings me closer to my African roots.
Huh? I thought you were of Japanese descent.
I can still relate. My great-great-grandfather was placed in an internment camp.
But Kwanzaa is not related to slavery. The traditions they pulled from are from East Africa. Nobody that was slave to North America came from East Africa.
It is close enough.
What backward Florida school did you graduate from? Please do not say the University of South Florida.
Florida State University?
That explains your messed up logic. Most slaves to the Americas in the 1600s came from West Africa, especially Ghana and Nigeria. Look at any map of the world and you will see that Nigeria and Kenya are on opposite sides of the continent. This is further than Hawaii is from New York.
So,
American blacks are primarily descended from people who came from Nigeria and other parts of West Africa. Kenya and Tanzania, where Swahili is spoken, are several thousand miles away, about as far from Nigeria as Los Angeles is from New York. Yet in celebrating Kwanzaa, African Americans are supposed to employ a vocabulary of such Swahili words as Kujichagulia and Kuamba. This makes about as much sense as having Irish Americans celebrate St. Patrick's Day by speaking Polish.
you are making me tired. I am going to sleep.
Good night.